Everybody, happy Tuesday, happy first Wednesday of the month of February. Of course, the month of January has flew by, and so we're in our second month of 2020. How exciting is that? So, of course, we are going into our conversation for the month of February, and we're talking about Tell Me You Love Me, the power of the tongue. So, we really want to be able to talk about some cognitive distortions, what cognitive distortions are, what are some examples, and how we can utilize our tongue or our words to be able to redirect or to quiet our inner critic. Okay, and so, as we move into the topic, I definitely want you guys to be able to get your notebooks, get your pens, get your Bibles, because of course, I'm always going to add in some trinkets of what the word has to say about the way we think or even the words that we speak. So, grab your Bibles. All right, so cognitive distortions are definitely like irrational thoughts that we think they're illogical. Sometimes they don't make sense. Sometimes they're absolutely untrue, and sometimes they ruminate in our minds. That can look like thinking negative thoughts when you should be thinking optimistically. That can be making assumptions or thinking that you can read someone else's mind about their ill intentions, or even just seeing things black and white and having no in between thought process about what that looks like. And so there's names to these cognitive distortions. There are several of them, but I'm really going to just kind of give you hints on a few that I kind of mentioned, such as jumping to conclusions. Of course, it's like assuming or make acting like you can read minds because you think that you know someone's intentions about you, and that may be because of some traumatic experiences that you've went through. That may be because of some issues with self. It may also be due to maybe some mental illness that you may be experiencing, such as some depression, some anxiety. All of those things kind of play a part in our cognitive distortions, especially when we look at some of the external factors which we experience every day in our life. And so some of the things that happen on the outside can definitely permeate on the inside of us, even rooting from childhood to life experiences. So we want to just kind of be mindful of where those thoughts came from, what happened that led us to believe things the way that we believe them, and begin to really attack those things by talking about it, by acknowledging that we're feeling a certain type of way, and really beginning to reconstruct the way we think about things and we see things, so that we are able to move forward with a renewed mind, a renewed heart, and a heart that is full of joy, um, so that we can live abundant, happy lives. Okay. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about that. And of course, emotional reasoning. Sometimes we can think, if I feel a certain type of way, it must be true. And that is called emotional reasoning. That's a cognitive distortion. So, because you feel nervous or afraid, you generally think, okay, something's bad going to happen. But the truth of the matter is, that may not necessarily be the case. And sometimes it may be. But it is our job to become aware of those negative emotions, be able to, again, separate the fact from the fiction and work through that issue. And then I guess we'll just kind of talk about another one called a mental filter. And again, that is where we're focusing so much on the negative that we can't even see the good in something. And so it's really, really important for us to, again, take captive those negative thoughts that come to keep us bound by thinking negatively about some things. When we talk about cognitive distortions, we can still talk about how our inner critic can be a huge sounding board, and how it react, how it respond, and even be in control of the way we speak, or even in the way that we respond to others around us. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about those for a little bit to kind of give you a little education on what cognitive distortions are, what that will look like in your life, and encourage you guys to kind of do a little bit more research on the forms of cognitive distortions that may be affecting you in your daily life. So with that being said, I just kind of want to bring you guys to focus on what the word says about our mindset. And we really want to be mindful of the way that we pattern our thoughts, and be transformed in our mind, be renewed in our mind, so that we will be able to, of course, live abundant and whole lives, not focusing so much on the negative, but being able to be optimistic about what is to come, and even being certain about our identity and who we are and what we've been called to do. And so, you guys already know in Romans 12:2, it tells us not to conform to the patterns of this world, but to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, definitely, we know that's important. And if we know that we have some cognitive distortions, we really want to begin to address those things, um, in a way that will be beneficial to us, be beneficial to the people around us, and be beneficial to just the path in which God has called us to. And so, from a biblical framework, I just want to kind of give you some ways to address some cognitive distortions, and I'm only going to give you a few, so that you can kind of take into consideration for yourself in your daily life, because we want to take back our power, because we know that our mind controls so much of what we do, and so we want to really take control of what we think, uh, and be able to do so. Here are a few that I came up with from, of course, the Bible as my basis, for ways to address cognitive distortions. And we're going to say one, I want you guys to protect yourself from external negative. That can be from just kind of guarding your heart and your mind, from the ill thoughts, the negativity from other people, maybe the things that are on the news, maybe other people's perspectives and attitudes towards things, and being able to separate their thoughts from your thoughts, their attitudes from your attitudes, and not letting those thoughts and those negative attitudes become your own. And so in Proverbs 4:23-27, it tells us to guard our heart, because from it flows, everything flows from it. So we definitely want to be able to guard our heart from negative outside influences, because we know that those things externally can affect our internal self. And so we just want to be mindful of that, as a way to address some cognitive distortions. And then we want to just kind of take captive those negative thoughts. Sometimes we can be our worst inner critic or biggest critic. And sometimes those thoughts have rooted from others around us, maybe even some of our own experiences, or even just falling victim to our own negative thoughts. And we just want to demolish those negative thoughts and just take them captive as requested in 2 Corinthians 10:5. And then I want you guys to think on positive things, think on good things, think on things that are noble, things that are pure, things that are good, things that are admirable, things that are excellent, and things that are praiseworthy. And that is what Philippians 4:8 commands us to in the New International Version. And then lastly, I just want you guys to be able to be mindful of the power of your tongue. Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So take the opportunity and time to declare life and to affirm the truth over your life. Um, because, of course, life and death are in the power of our tongue, and we want to be able to love on ourselves by speaking truth, speaking life, and just being able to love on ourselves in a way that is unimaginable to anyone else, by uh, redirecting those negative thoughts to be conformed to the truth of good thoughts. So I pray that you all have been blessed by this little small tidbit of encouragement. I only like to allow myself to have 10 minutes of time to give you some encouragement. So when you're ready to press play, replay, or share with family and friends, feel free to do so. And I'm always available, by email at Candace@simplycandacemarie.co, or on Instagram or Facebook at Simply Candace Marie. So I love you guys. God bless. Talk to you soon.